Welcome to the Florida High Wind Manual Certification. My name is John Jensen. I am the TRIA training manager, and I'm also a roofing contractor. So we're charging into 2021. That's our last year's manual. 2020 ended, and that manual is going to cease to be used as we go forward, except for permits that are outstanding. Permits that were taken from December 31st forward, we'll be using the new 2021 manual that you have in front of you. And as you can see, some folks are still hanging around on that 2020, hoping things don't change. And the people on the other side of the bus are wondering what it's really going to be like. And the good thing is the manual is more straightforward, drawings are better, and the changes are actually minimal. And more importantly, we've got a very good training team to take you through what those changes are. We'll have Lisa. She is training director, manages the website, and has a good technical background. So she's going to take you through the agenda for the day, the introduction of the manual, and kind of an overview of what the Tile Roofing Industry Alliance is. And then we've also got Paul Oleksak. He is a technical trainer for Boral Roofing. He has significant experience in the tile roofing industry. He lives in Florida. He's also one of the people in our industry that are integral to developing manual specifications and really writing the manual. And for us today, most importantly, being able to help explain it to us. Our last trainer will be Adrian. He is the director of sales for the steep slope products at ICP Adhesives and Sealants. And Adrian has not only a great understanding of his single and two component products at ICP, but he also has a background working for one of our manufacturers before he went to ICP. So he not only understands the product he's selling and working with today, but he really understands the tile roofing industry, and he'll be a great resource for you today and going forward. One or two of you registered very late, so you're working with a manual online, but you should have received a highlighter, some hand sanitizer, which you won't need today. You would if you were in our classroom, and then a manual. And the highlighter is critical because our goal is to not have you be forced to take a bunch of notes and remember things, but really our goal today is to make the manual a tool that is more easily used by you in your everyday work. So the manual is divided into what I call pictures pages and words pages. I'm going to give you a lot of suggestions. I'm going to make you do a lot of page flipping when I'm presenting. That gets you to where you can highlight things I think will help you use the manual and help things jump out at you when you get to that point. So the manual is what we are training to today, and we really want you to leave here knowing that it's a tool and it has all of the information in it that you need. So make the manual a better tool, make the test easy. Look at the manual during the class today. Put up with my page flipping, and I promise it will help you later in the day when you get to the test. So I want to talk about two different things with tile roofing in Florida, especially if you have experience with tile roofing, which is kind of funny. You'd think if you have some experience with tile roofing, say outside of Florida, it would seem like it would be easier to jump into it. It is in a sense, but with these two caveats. Number one, when we talk about transferring the load in construction, we're typically thinking about when we're going to set a pallet of material or roofing material up on the roof, and that weight that needs to be transferred to the decking, to the rafters, the trusses, the framing, down through the load-bearing walls to the foundation and the footing. So typical standard installations deal with the concern of wind uplift. You put 4 nails in a shingle, and under normal circumstances, that's all you need to do. With tile roofing in some parts of the country where there's not high wind at all, we actually don't have to fasten the tile except around the perimeter. They interlock and they hook on a batten, and they are secure enough to resist the wind uplift. Obviously, Florida is a different ballgame when it comes to hurricanes and high winds. So when we deal with wind uplift in Florida, we're talking about a wind that really wants to tear the roof off of the structure. So we need to figure out what kind of force, what kind of a wind uplift will there be? What type of uplift resistance can we get from various types of fastening, mechanical fastening or adhesive fastening? How do we transfer that through that fastener to either the underlayment or the decking, and then down through the rafters, trusses, framing, foundation, and footing? But the key there is that the wind is trying to rip that roof off, and so we've got to deal with wind uplift when we're designing our roof system in Florida. So we've got to keep the roof on to keep the water out, and that means facing that we've got some serious wind uplift forces on the tile. So we need to look at that first. Where is our roof? What is the wind there? And what does that mean for the uplift forces on our tile and on our roof? That means we've got to transfer that load, that uplift load, down to the underlayment or through the mechanical fastener to the deck. So we need to look at how are we going to fasten or secure that underlayment. What type of fastener are we going to use to get into that deck? What are the decking requirements? And then once we get to that point and we know how we're going to deal, what type of fastening detail we're going to use to deal with the uplift forces on the tile, then we can start putting our roof on. We'll start talking about what would be a typical roofing training. How do we install our underlayment properly? How do we load the tile on the roof and then install the roof to secure it to resist those forces? The second thing is that if you come from outside of Florida or are familiar with the regular manual, which covers 49 states, you know that the tile is the primary roof covering and the underlayment serves as a backup. In Florida, that's true also, but there are times where in some installations, the underlayment is part of or is the primary roof covering depending upon the flashing and fastening system. So we just need to keep that in mind. It will make more sense when we get to looking at the underlayment and flashing matrix and whether we use battens. So just to clarify, there's times in Florida where the underlayment system is just a backup. So we may have a minimal, dry installed underlayment, and at that point that underlayment is just a backup system. If we have a broken tile, we have a severe storm. But there's other times where we're building a roof under the roof or a roof as part of the roof under the tile. And that's just important, and that'll help you understand the flashing details that we get to.